What language does Norway speak? Most say Norwegian, but the truth is far more complex. Norway has two official written languages, countless dialects, and nearly everyone speaks English. This guide will reveal the real story, so you can connect, thrive, and avoid confusion in Norway. In this guide, we'll break down Norway's unique language landscape, Bokmål, Nynorsk, and the many dialects you'll hear across the country. You'll also discover how English fits into daily life, and why learning Norwegian is key to truly thriving here. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for navigating language in Norway, ready for success. Norway's official language is Norwegian, but with a twist. There are two written forms, Bokmål and Nynorsk. These parallel standards are both legally equal, shaping education, government, and daily life. Understanding this duality is the first step to grasping Norway's unique linguistic identity. In Norway, Bokmål and Nynorsk are legally equal. The Language Act requires public bodies to use both forms, so government documents, websites, and laws appear in each. Municipalities choose their official language, creating a patchwork of Bokmål and Nynorsk regions. This legal equality protects Norway's linguistic heritage and every citizen's right to their language. Norway's dual language system shapes daily life, especially in schools and media. Every student learns both Bokmål and Nynorsk, so you'll see both everywhere, in classrooms, on signs, in newspapers, and on TV. For Norwegians, this is normal. For newcomers, it can be confusing, until you realize it's just part of Norway's unique culture. For over 4 centuries, Norway was ruled by Denmark, and Danish became the language of power, law, and education. Meanwhile, Norwegians in rural areas kept their dialects alive, but these had no official written form, setting the stage for a future linguistic divide. In 1814, Norway gained its own constitution, sparking a debate: should the nation keep Danish as its written language or create something uniquely Norwegian? This clash between tradition and national identity led to two rival solutions, one reforming Danish, the other building a new language from rural dialects. The urban elite gradually transformed written Danish into Bokmål, adapting it to sound and feel more Norwegian while keeping its structure. Bokmål became the language of cities, government, and media, a modern, Norwegianized evolution of the old Dano-Norwegian standard. Linguist Ivar Aasen traveled Norway's countryside, collecting dialects to create a new written language, Landsmål, later called Nynorsk. Nynorsk, rooted in rural speech, became a symbol of local pride and was officially recognized alongside Bokmål, giving Norway two written standards. Today, Bokmål dominates public life, used by most Norwegians in national media, publishing, and online communication. For newcomers, learning Bokmål is essential for daily life, as it's the key to most written information in Norway. In Western Norway, Nynorsk thrives as the main written language in schools, local government, and newspapers, reflecting strong regional identity. Supported by education and culture, Nynorsk remains vibrant, a living testament to Norway's linguistic diversity and pride. This is perhaps the most important concept to grasp about the Bokmål versus Nynorsk debate, And honestly, it's a point of major confusion for a lot of foreigners. The distinction between Bokmål and Nynorsk is almost entirely about the language. When Norwegians speak, they don't consciously choose to speak Bokmål or Nynorsk. Instead, they just use their own local or regional dialect. So, a person from Bergen speaks the Bergen dialect, someone from Trondheim speaks the Trønder dialect, and a person from a small village in western Norway speaks the dialect of that specific village. These spoken dialects are their natural, everyday way of communicating. The written forms, Bokmål and Nynorsk, are basically standardized systems for putting all these different dialects onto paper. If your dialect is closer to the urban speech of Eastern Norway, Bokmål will probably feel like a more natural fit for your way of speaking. Your spoken words just translate more directly into the Bokmål written standard. On the other hand, if your dialect is from a rural area in Western Norway, you'll often find that Nynorsk better reflects your vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structures. So the choice of which written form to use is often about which standard best represents your own spoken language. This is why you'll never hear a Norwegian say, "I am going to switch to speaking Nynorsk now." It just doesn't work that way. While some dialects are closer to one standard than the other, nobody actually speaks pure Bokmål or pure Nynorsk. There are forms of spoken Norwegian that are closer to the written standards, like what you hear in formal settings or on the news, but even those keep dialectal features. The heart of Norwegian spoken identity is the dialect, not the written form. The written language is really just a tool for standardization, while the spoken language is a badge of regional identity and personal heritage. Understanding this separation between writing and speaking is honestly pretty liberating for a language learner. It helps explain why the Norwegian you hear on the street can sound so different from what you learn in your textbook. Your textbook is teaching you a written standard, most likely Bokmål, but the people you meet are speaking their dialects. This isn't a failure on your part, it's a fundamental feature of the Norwegian language. So, the challenge isn't to learn to speak Bokmål perfectly, but to understand the written standard, while also getting used to the rich variety of spoken dialects you'll run into in real life. Learning Norwegian can be a shock. Even after mastering Bokmål or Nynorsk, real conversations sound totally different. This is the great Norwegian dialect shock. There's no standard spoken Norwegian, just a tapestry of dialects. From Oslo to Tromsø, Norwegians sound so different, it can feel like separate languages. Don't get discouraged. Embrace the challenge and tune your ear to Norway's rich dialects. Norway's strong dialect culture comes from its rugged geography and deep-rooted pride in local identity. Dialects are seen as a badge of honor, not a mark of ignorance. There's no pressure to abandon your dialect. Each is respected equally, making Norway's linguistic landscape uniquely rich and authentic. Norwegian dialects aren't just for home, they're everywhere, in business, politics, and on TV. Even the Prime Minister and politicians use their own dialects in Parliament. In offices and universities, everyone speaks their own way. From the news to the supermarket, Norway proudly celebrates its rich dialects every day. Learning Norwegian means facing a unique challenge: the gap between what you study and what you actually hear on the streets. Most courses teach standard Bokmål, but Norwegians use countless dialects, making real conversations confusing and unpredictable. The only way forward is patience, real-world exposure, and not being afraid to ask for help. Embrace the challenge. It's part of truly becoming a part of Norwegian society. With so many strong dialects, can Norwegians actually understand each other? The answer is yes, mostly. Thanks to a shared education system and national media, most Norwegians understand each other, though some remote dialects can be tricky. When confusion happens, they simply ask for clarification, handling it with humor and pride in their linguistic diversity. Norwegians understand each other across dialects thanks to context and lifelong exposure. From childhood, they hear many dialects. On TV, from relatives, and in daily life. This constant exposure trains their brains to recognize patterns and meanings, making dialects second nature. It's a unique skill, uniting Norwegians in diversity and national identity. In Norway, English is everywhere, spoken fluently by young and old, in cities and rural towns alike. Thanks to early education and constant exposure to English media, Norwegians rank among the world's best non-native speakers. For visitors, this means communication is easy. Norwegians switch to English instantly, making everyone feel welcome. In Norway, you can use English almost everywhere. Ordering food, shopping, traveling, or even working in international companies. Universities and government offices often offer services in English, making life easy for newcomers. Norwegians switch to English in mixed groups, helping you feel included. But for deeper social life, Norwegian is still key. In Norway, English is everywhere, making life easy for foreigners, but also creating the English trap. It's comfortable, but it can keep you from learning Norwegian and truly integrating. Without the language, you risk feeling like an outsider, missing out on deeper friendships and opportunities. Escaping the trap means making the effort to speak Norwegian, even when it's hard. In many Norwegian workplaces, especially in international companies, English is the official language. This makes it easy for foreigners to start working right away. But outside meetings, Norwegians often switch to their native language, making social integration more challenging. The English bubble helps you work, but not always belong. While you can work in Norway using only English, true advancement often depends on learning Norwegian. Speaking Norwegian unlocks leadership roles and deeper connections with colleagues. It opens up more job opportunities and signals your commitment to Norway. Even basic effort is appreciated. Learning Norwegian is your key to success and belonging. Should you learn Norwegian? For anyone planning to stay, the answer is a resounding yes. Learning Norwegian transforms you from a visitor to a true member of society, opening doors to authentic relationships and deeper understanding. It's an act of respect, self-empowerment, and the key to feeling truly at home in Norway. The best time to start learning Norwegian is before you move. Use apps and online resources to build a foundation. Arriving with basic vocabulary gives you a head start and makes your first weeks easier. Enroll in a language course, but don't limit learning to the classroom. Practice daily. Order coffee, buy groceries, and use Norwegian, even if it feels awkward. Listen, watch, and train your ear. Celebrate small victories and be patient. Learning Norwegian is a marathon. So, we return to our original question. What language does Norway speak? By now, you understand that the answer is not a single word, but a fascinating story of history, identity, and culture. The simple answer, Norwegian, unfolds into a complex reality. Norway speaks a language with two official written faces, Bokmål and Nynorsk, born from a nation's struggle to define itself after centuries of foreign rule. This dual system, enshrined in law and practiced in daily life, ensures that both the urban, evolved standard and the rural, constructed standard have a protected and respected place in the country's public and literary spheres. Beneath this written duality lies an even more vibrant and challenging layer, the powerful and celebrated world of spoken dialects. Norway does not have one standard spoken language, but hundreds of local variations that are used with pride in every corner of society, from the parliament to the evening news. This is not a quaint relic of the past, but a living, breathing testament to the Norwegian values of equality and local identity. The dialect is a badge of honor, not something to be corrected or hidden. This creates a unique linguistic environment that is both rich in character and notoriously difficult for outsiders to navigate. Adding a final modern layer to this intricate picture is the pervasive and high-quality use of English. The exceptional English proficiency of Norwegians acts as a welcoming bridge for foreigners, making communication easy and accessible from the moment of arrival. However, this convenience creates the English trap, a comfortable but isolating space that can hinder true social and professional integration. The full truth, therefore, is that language in Norway is a multi-layered system, a dual written standard, a diverse spoken reality, and a highly functional second language, all coexisting in a delicate and unique balance. Understanding this full picture is the first and most critical step for anyone looking to build a life in Norway. It replaces the shock and confusion that so many foreigners experience with clarity and realistic expectations. Knowing that the language has these distinct layers, written, spoken, and the English alternative, allows you to approach your journey with a strategic mindset. It helps you understand why the Norwegian you learn in a textbook sounds so different from what you hear on the street, and why learning the language is so crucial despite the widespread use of English. It is the map you need to navigate this fascinating linguistic terrain. Armed with this knowledge, your path to successful integration in Norway becomes much clearer. The most common mistakes foreigners make, getting frustrated by dialects, relying too heavily on English, or giving up on learning Norwegian altogether, can be avoided. Your journey should be a conscious one, built on a foundation of respect for the local culture and a commitment to communication. The ultimate advice is simple but profound. Embrace the complexity and make a consistent effort. Learning Norwegian is not just a practical task, it is your key to unlocking the heart of Norwegian society and building a life of genuine connection. Your strategy should be twofold. First, commit to learning the written standard, which for most people will be Bokmål. This is your foundation. It will allow you to read, write, and understand the formal language used in most official contexts, media, and literature. Use apps, take classes, and build a solid grammatical base. Second, and just as importantly, you must actively train your ear to understand the dialects. Watch Norwegian television, listen to local radio, and do not be afraid to engage in conversations, even if you only catch a fraction of what is being said. This exposure is the only way to bridge the gap between the classroom and the real world. Remember to push yourself out of the comfortable English bubble. Politely ask your Norwegian friends and colleagues to speak Norwegian with you. They will almost always be happy to oblige and will see it as a sign of your dedication. Be patient with yourself and with the process. There will be good days and bad days, moments of clarity and moments of utter confusion. This is a universal experience for every learner. Celebrate small victories and view every mistake as a learning opportunity. Your goal is not to speak like a native, but to communicate effectively and show that you care enough to try. Ultimately, your attitude will define your success. See the Norwegian language not as a barrier, but as an invitation. It is an invitation to understand a unique culture, to form deeper friendships, to advance in your career, and to feel truly at home in one of the most beautiful countries on earth. By understanding the full truth about language in Norway and approaching it with patience and determination, you are not just learning to speak, you are learning to belong. That is a journey well worth taking, and it is the secret to avoiding the common pitfalls and building a rich and rewarding life in your new country.